Streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget, you can watch us, which we are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Today we get to hear from Lewis. He is the executive director with Mississippi Prison Rights Initiative, and they're up to some good things and releasing some new works. So welcome, Lewis.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful, Lewis. It is 70 degrees and sunny, and it feels like a warm hug when you walk outside, and you just couldn't ask for a better day here in Mississippi. So it's good medicine out there, Lewis.
Yes, it is. It has been since yesterday, I think.
Absolutely. Good day for sitting out and reading a good book and maybe some works that you guys have just released. So let's first talk about Mississippi Prison Rights Initiative. I know we've had you on before, but give us a little bit of background about the mission and what you guys kind of do on a daily basis.
Well, we were, I think it's safe to say, the first ones to go into the Mississippi penal system and offer literacy-based workshops, and we've been doing this now for over 10 years. And occasionally from these workshops, we collect the best writing from these classes and put them into a volume of work. And our recent collection is from Mississippi State Penitentiary, better known as Parchment Farm. But our latest collection is Unit 29, Writing from Parchment Prison. And this is our fourth collection from the program. And I like to think it is our best endeavor so far. I'll let the reader decide for herself. But
well, they're very personal, Lewis. So you sent me a copy for me to read through, and I was curious of maybe, what kind of works it would be. Do you guys, during the workshop, do you work with, obviously you work with them on their writing, and this is inmates, and their writing style and sharing their story, but do you give them direction in terms of what to write? Do y'all prompt them with questions or maybe set the stage of because some of them are completely opposite in terms of the way they go. It's written kind of like small short stories by the different inmates. At least that's how I took it. Is that correct, Lewis?
Yeah, I can see it. Well, so yes, we do work by way of various topics. But this particular collection, the one that you glazed over, it represents 3 years of work. So, and also we had upwards of just 60 different writers that we're working with on this collection, and we ended up with publishing about 30 of them. So that would maybe explain, why you have such a dichotomy going on in the collection. But generally speaking, for this particular class, the 29 workshops were a little different than in other facilities and other units where we've worked. A large part of this collection took place in the zones where the inmate writers lived, because we were working with inmate writers who were segregated from the general population at 29, and so we kind of worked with them one-on-one, cell to cell rather, and so that's kind of a different tone, a different texture perhaps than our normal collections.
Do they get to volunteer, Lewis, to do these workshops, or is it kind of like they're voluntold to do it, or they get to choose to sort of?
Everything is completely volunteer based, and I've never. It's interesting. I've never seen such enthusiasm take place on a workshop, whether it be at Parchment or on campus here at Oxford. It's amazing. We always had way more, volunteer students than we could work with even. So,
what are other positive things, Lewis, that come from and obviously anytime you can increase someone's literacy, I think that's a good thing. You would probably account that maybe many of the inmates there, that could be, something that they all sort of, or not all, but many wrestle with would be low literacy or lower education. But other than just upping the literacy, what good comes from giving them their outlet of being able to write their thoughts or feelings or share their stories, as many have in your Unit 29 book, in terms of the long term?
It's just amazing, really. I mean, it's like, 99% of these folks had never thought about taking a class like this, and then they signed up out of a curiosity, perhaps, or maybe a genuine interest in writing, but had never had the opportunity to do that. And it's just like the light goes on. That's why I've been doing this now for so long. It's just because I've never had a situation in any class in any of the prisons where we are, and in which I was not absolutely enthralled by the enthusiasm of just the fact that they have an opportunity. They take full advantage of it. And that's really amazing.
What do many of them? I mean, I'm sure you're not able to publish all of it that gets written there, Lewis, with the Mississippi Prison Writings Initiative. But for those that get put into the collective for the book that you publish, what does it mean to them to now have something out there in the world, or to have been able to share their story? And they are considered kind of a published author.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I've never had one of these inmate students not feel anything but total, gratitude that they were able to finally get, their word out into the world. It's just.
And that's what you've done. So, what number is this? You mentioned this is the latest that you guys have put out. How many more are there?
So this is our fourth collection. And we actually plan on publishing at least two more collections at the fall of this year. We want to do a Mississippi prison poetry collection, and then after that publication, we want to release a Mississippi prison writing anthology, which is kind of like a culmination of all the best writing over the past decade in the program. So,
if someone's reluctant to read it, Lewis, because there is some, heavy content there, some do not hold back, which I think is that's part of the, them being able to be cathartic and, get out their story and share, as raw and as real as prison can be. If they're reluctant, what are they missing out on? Because I ended up enjoying, strangely, reading through, even though they were kind of tough topics, reading through because you could tell it's from the voice of an inmate and not someone writing it for them.
Yeah, it just comes from a very simple concept. I encourage them not to hold back anything. If there's anything that goes way too far, we can always weed that out in the editing process. But the idea is that you're never, when you're writing or doing any kind of art, you're never going as far as you think you are. So and actually, in this idea that you should set some sort of limits, have some kind of censorship is very, very injurious to the process, because it's like, first you need to release it and get it out there and see what you have, and then you can go back and craft it into something that, because there are some things that we've come across that it's not releasable. But generally speaking, what we get is, I think, a very important societal message.
I think if you are wondering kind of what's in the head of inmates or sort of some of their stories from their perspective, this is a great book. It's an easy read in terms of just the shorter stories. You can read a little bit at a time, as sort of I did, Lewis. So if people want a copy, where do they get it?
You can order directly from us at voxpress.org. It is available on Amazon. Currently, it is available at Square Books in Oxford, Lorelli Books in Vicksburg, and Past Christian Books on the coast. It should be available. We distribute ourselves. It will be available in key bookstores throughout the state throughout the year. So, but the quickest way right now is to get it from us or Amazon.
All righty, and we'll look forward to that fifth installment too. But I think it's good work. Folks need to read it. Something interesting, intriguing for sure. Lewis, I appreciate your time and all that you're doing with the Mississippi Prison Rights Initiative. So if people want to learn more about that real quick, where do they go? Is there a website?
Yes, go to voxpress.org, and you should be able to find everything you wanted to know about the program there.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you for your time, Lewis. You guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.